Alright, so in the last video we went ahead and created the display word function, and we're running it initially, and what that does is it checks basically the word element in our HTML. Well, it doesn't check it, it sets it to whatever the selected word is, which is generated randomly from these words up here in the array, and it splits it into an array, maps through it. It sees if there's a letter in the correct letters array. If there is, it's going to display it. If not, it displays just an empty string. Then we just run join to turn it back into a string, and that's what we're seeing right here. Okay, and then we just check to see if it matches, if the word element in our text matches the selected word. If it does, that means obviously we've guessed it, and we just give a pop-up message. Okay, so now what we need to do is add the game functionality. When I'm in this window here and I click any letter, that should fire off an event. So let's add that right here above where we called the display word function. So let's say this is going to be a key down letter press. So we want this on the window object, which is the very top level object in the DOM, and we want to add an event listener onto that. And the event we're listening for is key down. Okay, so when you press a key down, this will fire off, and we'll have our event parameter here and a function. So we only want to listen for letters. Okay, so if we hit like a 6 or a question mark or enter or something like that, we don't want it to fire off. And there's actually something called key codes on this event parameter that's passed in. So if we console log the key code, and then I'm just going to go over here and open up my console and just reload. And now when I hit something, I'm going to hit the letter D. You see we get 68. If I hit the letter P, we get 80. If I hit 7, we get 55. If I hit enter, we get 13. So each key has a key code. Now, like I said, we only want this to fire off when we hit a letter, and the letters go from A, which is 65, to Z, which is 90. So we want to make sure that it's in that range in order to continue and do anything. Okay, so I'm just going to comment that out. I'll keep that there. And then let's do a quick if statement here. And let's say if e.keycode is greater than or equal to 65, and e.keycode is less than or equal to 90. So basically, if we hit A through Z on the keyboard, then let's just say console log 1, 2, 3, just so we know that it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the letter, the number 4, and nothing happens. I'm going to hit enter, nothing happens. I'll hit the letter H, and it works. So we know that this is only working if we hit an actual letter. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is put that letter into a variable. So what we can call this letter, and we'll set this to e.key, which will give us that key. Okay, and then we want to find out if the letter is actually in the selected word. So we'll say if, and let's say selected word, and we want to use the includes method here, and then letter. Okay, so basically we're doing the same thing we did up here, except we're looking in selected word instead of correct letters. And you can use includes on a string as well as an array. Now we want to push the letter onto the correct letters array, but only if it's not already there. We don't want to have it twice. So what we'll do first is we'll run a check, and we'll say if not correct letters, which is our array, includes letter, then we'll continue here, and we'll take the correct letters array, and we're going to push onto it the letter. Okay, and then right after we do that, we're going to want to update the word element to show the new letter. So we can do that by just running display word, because that's what that function does. Okay, and then let's put an else here. So basically what we're saying here is if this is not true, meaning if it's already there, then we want to show our notification, which we're going to have a function that does that. Okay, we don't have that yet, but that's what we're going to do. Now we also want an else on this right here. This selected words includes letter. If it doesn't, so we'll do an else here. If it doesn't, then we want to push it to the wrong letters array. Okay, remember we have the correct letters array right here, and we have wrong letters. So when the user hits a letter and it's not in the actual word, then it's going to go here. If it is in the word, it'll go there. All right, so let's push it onto the wrong letters array, but we want to make sure that it's not already there, just like we did with the correct letters. So if not, wrong letters dot includes the letter, then we're going to go ahead and push that on, wrong letters dot push the letter. Okay, and then after we add the wrong letter, we need to display it in the wrong letters element. So we're going to have a function for that as well, and we're going to call that update wrong letters element. Okay, and then we'll have an else here, just like we did above, and say show notification. Okay, so we're going to create both the show notification function and the update wrong letters function. So we'll save that, and then let's at least create those functions. So up here, let's say update the wrong letters. So this will be a function called update wrong letters element. And for now, let's just do a console log update wrong, and we'll create the functionality in the next video. And then we'll also have our show notification. And the show notification is pretty simple, so I guess we could just do that now. All we're going to do is add and then remove the show class, because remember, if we have the show class, it'll display the little thing down here that says you've already entered that letter. So we can take notification, take that element, and add the class by using classlist.add, and we want to add the show class. Okay, and then we want it to disappear automatically after a certain amount of time. So we're going to use set timeout, which takes in a function. Takes in a function, and then it takes in a second parameter of the milliseconds that you want to wait to run whatever you put inside the function body. So we'll say 2000, which is 2 seconds. And all we need to do is remove the show class. So we'll just grab that and simply say dot remove. So it's just going to show it real quick, and then it's going to remove after 2 seconds. Okay, so if I go over here and I hit a letter, update wrong, I hit D, let's hit A. Okay, so there is an A, as you can see. Now if I hit A again, there we go, we get you have already entered this letter, and it pops up for 2 seconds. If you want to change, if you want to make it longer, you can extend it with this number here. But yeah, so that works good. So in the next video, I want to handle the wrong, because right now it's just saying update wrong when I hit a letter that's not actually in the word. So we're going to handle that. And then we also need to handle, when we have the pop-up, we need to handle the play again button as well. All right, so we'll get into that in the next video.